KSJE 90.9 FM.
Hi, I'm Megan, host of Radio Free Saturday Morning, the eclectic music mix beacon of the Four Corners and worldwide. Tune in to discover new music and to revel in the more familiar with no rules on genre, form, or novelty. Learn more about the origins of songs, the lives of the musicians that made them, and a wide array of interesting facts in general. It's freeform radio at its finest. Hear what you rarely hear anywhere else here on Radio Free Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. every Saturday on KSJE.
Minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Thursday morning, the 23rd day of July, 2026. Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott Micklin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE 90.9 FM right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we broadcast at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice anywhere else on planet Earth, maybe you've gone to our website to listen. That's KSJE.com. Maybe you're listening through the KSJE radio app, or maybe you've asked your smart speaker to play KSJE. However you got here, we are glad to have you with us this morning. Also, welcome to folks who are watching me right now, because the video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So lots of ways to join us on the air this morning. Coming up in the next few moments, my guests from the San Juan County Partnership. There's lots to talk about with the partnership this morning, including a very special anniversary that is going to be celebrated very, very soon. So stay tuned for news about that and more coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then, of course, next hour, Mick Hess is going to take us roving with the arts, our weekday classical music program that begins at 9:06. You can also connect with KSJE on other forms of social media in addition to Facebook and YouTube. Find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, and now Nextdoor. So we'll see you over there. KSJE podcasts are available too wherever you listen to podcasts, so subscribe and maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed in your feed. We publish new podcasts almost each and every day. Don't forget, we will see you downtown Farmington Friday, the 24th at 10 a.m. That's tomorrow. Holy smokes. 10 o'clock in the morning for the Connie Mack World Series Parade. If you can't join us on Main Street, we'll be streaming the parade live on Facebook and YouTube as well. The KSJE radio app available now at the App Store and on Google Play. And weather real quick, it's currently 71 degrees outside our studios at San Juan College. We're expecting a sunny and hopefully drier day today. We'll see. 85 for a high in Farmington, 69 overnight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, a bit warmer with a high of 92 on Friday, 94 with hot temperatures on Saturday and lots of sunshine, partly sunny 93 on Sunday, and 92 with partly sunny skies on Monday. Maybe you still have a chance of a shower or two in the forecast over the next several days, but of course it's Connie Mack season, so we'll see what happens. I'll be back with my guests from the San Juan County Partnership right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital serving the Four Corners. With a 115-year history of improving the quality of life, health, and care of individuals and families throughout our region. When life happens, San Juan Regional Medical Center is here to serve everybody. Find out more at sanjuanregional.com.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Micklin Morning Program on KSJE.
Back in the studio this morning with my guests, as I mentioned, joining me from the San Juan County Partnership. Amanda Evans is here this morning. Good morning and welcome back. Good to see you.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
Good to have you here. Also, Julie Smith is back with us this morning as well from the partnership. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Scott.
Thank you both for coming in this morning and being with me today. And as I mentioned, there is a special event coming up for the San Juan County Partnership and a special year, I guess, right? This is a big anniversary year for the partnership.
Yeah, it's been 35 years since we started.
How about that? Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. We've had a lot of change over the years and a lot of growth, and still committed to making the community a better place.
Right. And that's been the mission from the very beginning, right? I mean, that really hasn't changed.
Oh, yeah, that has not changed. We have always been committed to making people and the community healthier and doing whatever we can to just make it a better place. And over the years, how we've done that has changed some as times changed and issues changed and things, but we've spent a lot of time just doing work.
Very cool. And so this year you were kind of looking back on those 35 years and the growth and the different programs and different areas that the partnership has been involved with, I guess, in San Juan County for all these 35 years?
Yeah, the partnership really started, it actually started through San Juan College and a grant that happened here, and then kind of transitioned into something much bigger, and started really with just a focus on substance use and substance, kind of those issues around that, and has grown into so much more. We have a housing assistance program, we have a law enforcement assisted diversion program, we have Healthy Kids, Healthy Communities. We do the Health Council. We have other community groups. And so it's just grown into this big group of people within the community that work to make a difference.
Right. And all of that is funded by a lot, I think, of grants and things like that you're able to apply for and receive successfully and things like that. Julie, that's part of a little bit in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're mostly funded by grants that are competitive grants. So an application process, you have to show that there's a need and make the services that you're going to provide mean something for your community. So we're in the process of still writing more grants because we see so much need in our community for our kiddos, for, that's my focus, Scott.
Right, I know, right, true. Sure.
So for our kiddos, for just making our community the very best that it can be so that our future generations have an opportunity to live and stay here, we see so many of our kiddos grow up here, they love our area, but sometimes there's not a lot for them here, so they go somewhere else. So we want to make our community a place where our kiddos want to stay, they want to thrive, they want to grow, and make our community a better place still. So,
right.
But I'm going to talk a little bit about not grant funding because
okay.
A lot of people may not know that oftentimes grant funding is very, very restricted. We have very defined parameters on what we can spend those grant funds for. Now, we're doing great things with those, but oftentimes there are needs in our community that cannot be met through funds from grants, like especially federal grants, because those have a lot of rules and regulations around them to make sure that they're being, it's taxpayers' dollars, and we want to make sure that we're spending those in a way that everybody would approve of,
Sure.
right? So my role as development director, one of the things that I am working on doing is bringing in more private donations to the partnership so that we can do the kinds of things that we know we need in the community, but may not always have the grant funds for, because we don't have a specific grant that can, purchase things that allow us to help people when they're moving into a new place if they've been experiencing homelessness. There's not a lot of grants for couches.
Yeah, right, sure. But there's a need.
But there's a need.
Right,
if you
sure.
think about someone who has, been experiencing homelessness, they're not likely going to have a couch. They're not likely going to have a bed. So it's things like that we are looking to grow our private donors for, so that we can really continue to make the biggest difference that we can in people's lives.
Nice.
So to that,
Yeah.
I think you have a little graphic for us. As part of our 35th anniversary.
I'm not sure I got that graphic up there. I got the photos up there. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Is that the QR code that I did not get out there? Yeah.
That is the QR.
You can put it on the Facebook page.
We will
Yeah,
we'll add it after the show. I apologize.
No
but
worries,
I
no
can
worries.
work on it over here, but go ahead.
So
I am sorry. But yes,
for
you're
our
looking for private donors.
Yeah, for our 35th anniversary, we're doing a special 35th anniversary campaign. And you'll see once we get that up there and you can visit it that there's a little bit of a theme around it. You know, like if you could donate $35, that would be an amazing start, right?
That makes sense.
Or,
Sure. Right.
Or $350 that, you know, keeps us going a little bit. Or $3,500. That would be amazing.
Right.
You know, to keep us rocking and rolling
Right.
for 35 more years, kind of thing. So that's we're going to be kicking that campaign off at the 35th anniversary. Well, I guess we're kind of kicking it off right now, huh?
Okay, I guess we are. There you go. And our crack staff has got the QR code
Yay!
up there. I think that's the right one. Who knows where it'll go, but I think it will. Point your phone at it, and it will take you to the partnership. That's right.
And then also, there was the link that could take you to the actual pretty graphic if you wanted to, too.
Oh. Okay. Staff, are you listening? Work on that, too, while we're talking. Sounds good.
I love it. So the point of it is that we know that not everybody has extra money in our community, obviously, or we wouldn't be needed.
Right.
Right?
True.
So, but for those of you who are listening that feel compelled and you do have a little extra that you could give towards an institution, an agency that has been around for 35 years trying to make a difference in our community, not just trying, making a difference in our community. If you feel like you'd like to be a part of that, we would welcome anything. Even if it's $3.50.
Right. It all adds up, doesn't it?
It all adds up.
Sure.
So I think we've got a pretty graphic now.
Getting there.
Getting there. Okay, I'll keep talking.
Yep.
So
the staff is telling me. Keep talking.
So yeah, it's just our 35th anniversary. So we wanted to celebrate with a little bit, something a little bit fun for this giving campaign. So
Sure. Almost. So close.
Oh, so close. So close.
That's it. Okay, here we go. It's going to be amazing when everybody sees it.
Excellent. Here it comes.
Okay.
Whoa!
Almost. You know, it's
I
there.
want a little early.
That's it. There it is.
Yay!
Worth the wait, I hope, everybody. There it is. There. Now that's what a 35th birthday party should look like, right?
That's
exactly.
right.
That's what we're talking about. Okay. Well, very exciting. And again, you know, this extra dollars is important, as you said, to fill in those gaps where the grants may not work. Maybe you get grants for certain things in a program, but maybe there's something else, like maybe gas for a van or something that the grant won't pay for.
Yeah.
This kind of funds could help with those types of needs, correct?
Absolutely. And one of the things that, you know, most people expect when you have a meeting is food, you know, even if it's just snacks or even if it's just a water.
Yeah, right.
When you walk into a meeting, you know, sometimes most federal grants won't allow us to do that. We can't purchase even things like food for a meeting.
Right.
Unless it's like something that meets an objective within the grant. So those little dollars may seem like little, but really it does add up. So
Sure.
Every little bit helps. So if you could help with our 35th anniversary campaign, that would be amazing.
There you go. Very good. And if you're a regular listener and watcher of this program, you've heard people like Julie and Amanda talking about just all the work that the partnership is doing, all the data that you're collecting, all the things that you're doing with students in schools and students out of schools and other programs that are available here in the community, and just so many things that the partnership does for just not just its own nonprofit, but other nonprofits too, like the Health Council and things like that. And so I think folks know that their money is well spent by making a donation to this campaign.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, and that's one of the projects we do that really isn't grant funded is the community needs assessment. We do that every
Right.
4 years, and we really
It's
have
a
to.
major
It's a major project. It takes us about 2 years. That's why we only do it every 4. And that document is really utilized throughout the community by other agencies, community members, to help make decisions about needs in the community, to help write grants for other agencies. And that's a huge expense because we hire contractors that really know what they're doing around data, so that this is a very statistically significant thing, and that costs money. It costs money then to even print those, to get them out, or to go do the presentations and things like that to get the information out. And that's one of those needs that we really don't have it under any of the grants that we do, and some of them require it but don't pay for it. And so things like that are really important to our community, but don't have the money to.
Right. Well, and again, because it's the San Juan County Partnership, it's not something that you then collect and do and pay for and lock away and use it yourselves. You share it with the bigger, broader community. So if another nonprofit or for-profit, I suppose, wanted to get some funds or use it, it's available. I mean, it's not like it's behind a paywall or something like that. It's out there, right?
Yeah, no, it is always on our website. We have links to it. For a while, we were even giving out like bookmarks with the link to it and stuff.
Right.
Probably should do that again with QR codes or something. But yeah, it's always available. We have older ones copies, so you can see how the data has changed over the years, because there are things like youth drinking that we have seen major changes in the last 35 years.
In a good way?
In a good way.
Yeah.
That has gone down a lot. I love that. I have a teenager, so that makes me very happy right now that that's at a low for what it was when the partnership was started. And that's, I'm not saying the partnership's the sole reason for that. We have a lot of community partners that have been working on this with us for years, and new ones that come on board all the time. But those are the kind of changes that we see when you have an organization like this doing the work that we're doing.
Yeah, very true. And so it's great to be able to see. And again, it's a great organization that kind of shares a lot of this data with the greater community, so other folks can be able to use it as well. And that survey, I think, is so important. Anyone that does study statistics and surveys and things like that knows how important it is to get a good sample to be able to kind of make that extrapolation to the larger community as a whole, and that's really important.
Yeah, and that's really why it takes so much time, energy, staffing, because we go out, and I think, I don't know if I want to speak a number, but I think it was over like 1,300 surveys or something this past time. Highest we've done. Yeah,
significant. And some of those were hand done.
Yeah.
So we recognize that not everybody in our community has access to do something digitally. So
or wants to.
Or wants to.
Right.
Exactly. So there were staff members who went out and gathered this information, sat with folks while they did paper surveys, so that we could really get not just our digital community, but a representation of our whole community for this, because that really makes a difference in our data, and knowing that we've reached the people that we need to reach with this.
Yeah, very much so. And then just doing the rough math this morning, about 1,300 would be about what percent of the population of the county? 130,000?
Yeah, math's not my thing.
If you move the decimal point a couple of pages over, anyway.
And I'm not, don't even hold me to that number, because
okay.
It's been a while. I think it's
all
been
right.
about a year since I did a presentation on it. I did know it. But you could go on our website and download it and look at it.
Right yes.
And it will tell you all of that information.
That's very true. Very true.
If you're curious if I'm right, you can check that.
Yeah. Got it.
Prove me wrong.
Very good. Another big event that's coming up, too, is the San Juan County Fair. And,
Yay!
Of course, the partnership will have a significant position at the fair. You'll have a booth out there, right? For the duration of the fair?
Yes, we will. We'll have a big double booth. We'll have activities for kiddos to do. We have some giveaways. And, of course, always some great information on prevention, how to recognize things within our community that need to be addressed, information on our housing assistance program, on Healthy Kids, Healthy Communities, on not so much our law enforcement assisted diversion, that's sort of a niche thing, but other programs that we have, we'll have information on all of that, and
nice.
It's always a good time. We love to see people really, truly, come out, because we're there. We're going to be there. Somebody will be at our booth the entire time. So please come talk to us. It makes our day go faster.
Yes.
There you go. Very good. But that stuff for the kids is always important to have at a booth. So
Yes.
it's good to know that you've got some stuff available.
Yeah,
right,
so
for
one of the
kids.
things that we like to do, and we were going to take some pictures and forgot, is we do an alcohol education display that's interactive. So I think we've talked about this before, Scott, that there are a lot of products out there that are for adults only, that contain alcohol or sometimes other substances now like THC or kratom that mimic kid-friendly drinks. So
They resemble them or
they
look like
look
them,
like
or the
them.
labels are
Yeah.
similar.
they
Yeah,
look
sure.
very, very much
Okay.
the same.
All right.
I won't say identical because there are a few key indicators, and this is what we try to teach kids and parents with this display, is we have the kid-friendly and then we have the adult version on the table, and we have them try to guess which is which. And then when they inevitably don't pick all of the ones that are not kid-friendly, we show them how to read the labels and look for the key indicators on those packaging that show that this is not a kid-friendly. And then also talking to kids about, like, if you ever are at a friend's house and you think you're drinking a root beer, but it tastes funny or it's tingly or it's burny in your mouth when you swallow, that is a good indication that that's probably not a kid-friendly drink, and you should ask an adult or just not drink it.
Yeah.
Because we've heard stories, every time we do this display at the fair, we get stories about even adults who like went into a convenience store, grabbed an iced tea and drank it on the way home, not realizing that it was actually one of those hard iced teas, so it contained alcohol. Or and they don't get carded because they look
Sure.
like they don't need to be carded because
Right.
they don't.
Right.
Right? So it's not that our convenience stores or our grocery stores are not doing their job. It's that the packaging is so similar that it's very easy to confuse, even for adults, that this product may contain alcohol or now something else, because we're seeing an influx of THC or other substances in drinks that also look like kid-friendly or non-alcoholic, non-substance beverages.
Right. Very interesting. Well, that will be. I will look for that.
Yeah,
At your booth. I'm going to come out. And see
Come
you.
out. Let's see if
So
you can.
I
Let's see if you
will,
can pick them out.
I will see what I can do. Exactly.
Yeah.
What else, Amanda?
Well, I've been doing the display for years, and one of the most common stories I hear is that grandparents go into maybe like a store with their grandkids, and the grandkids are like, "Oh, this looks like my Capri Sun," because we have alcoholic drinks that are in pouches and or some other like kid-friendly thing, and the grandparents don't look at it and put it in the buggy and get home and hopefully don't give it to them. Some cases they have, and so that's the one thing, like maybe I know we hear a lot from parents that, oh, I don't have alcohol in my house, so it's not an issue. But if someone else is even taking your kids to the store, they may have the best of intentions and not have any idea what they're getting is
Yeah.
not the right thing. So
Thanks.
that's kind of like, we get a few that are like, no, I don't need to know that, but there's a lot of instances where it can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good to know. And this is the work that the partnership does, is at the fair or in schools or at other community events. I mean, we hear this message all over the place, thanks to the San Juan County Partnership that is getting out and spreading that message. And I know I'm always surprised about the vaping that is going on, too, at younger and younger ages. I think, Julie, you always tell me and shock
Yes.
me with some of the data that you have collected, local data from San Juan County kids, right?
Yes.
Talking about, oh yeah, it's around, it's at my school. Maybe they're not using, but they definitely see it or are exposed to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of our kids, when I do vaping presentations in our public schools, almost all of them have seen vaping now. When I very first started, about 4 years ago doing these presentations, I was still not getting hands raised when I'm like, do you know what a vape is? And now it's very rare that the whole room isn't raising their hand. So
Wow, right.
we know that we keep doing the work. However, it seems to be progressing still. So we're going to continue to do the work. We do presentations in the schools. We do talk to parents, like even at the fair. We'll talk about vaping and making sure that those things are locked up. We have a whole safe storage campaign that we're running through my PFS 24. That's Partnerships for Success grant, and then other grants that we have are also doing similar safe storage campaigns, specifically in rural areas, especially on the reservation, because those folks may not see the kind of things that we see in town. Right?
Right.
So
Sure.
we just want to make sure that all areas, all corners of our county, we're covering and we're getting that information out so that we can see a decline in the youth use of vape products, because we know that nicotine is not great for them.
Right.
Does not good things for their bodies at this age.
And it's another product that's highly addicting
It's
as well.
very highly addicting.
Yeah.
The concentration of nicotine in most vape devices is so much higher than in traditional tobacco cigarettes that the addiction happens even quicker. And so,
Yeah.
yes.
A good message that
good
you are
message.
getting out there.
Yes.
And just like I think, as Amanda was talking about the decrease in teen alcohol consumption rates, it took a while and probably takes some repetition or a lot of repetition, but eventually it does start to trend down, and I
It
think
does,
that
yeah.
eventually, hopefully, will be what we see with vaping as well as we move forward. But we are just about out of time, but I don't want to end the program without talking a little bit more about a program that I know, Julie, you work with, which is Art as Prevention, right?
Right.
Because you like to be a little creative.
I do.
Yeah.
I am an artist, and so I have the delight to combine my art with reaching kiddos, and it's a partnership with the Boys and Girls Clubs of San Juan County, and
These photos we do have ready to go, so
Excellent.
whenever you want them up there, we will put them up there.
Go
Yes, ma'am.
ahead, let's
Here
do
we
it.
go. There's those kids. There they are.
So
Look at those smiles.
This was a very special cohort that we tried for the first time this summer. These are actually kiddos from the Aztec and Bloomfield clubs.
Nice.
That I was going to say shipped, but that's not the right word.
Okay, imported. I don't
Imported.
know, right? Transported.
Transported.
How about
That's a
that?
good one.
Okay.
A staff member from the Farmington Club went and picked up the Bloomfield and the Aztec kiddos and brought them to Farmington, because that's where we have the clay studio that I work out of to teach Art is Prevention. And so we had an opportunity to have 3 kiddos from Aztec, 3 kiddos from Bloomfield for the 3.5-week program that it was just a joy. They were one of the best groups I've had, and you can tell by the smile in my voice, I'm sure.
You're right.
We had a lot of fun. They learned what pottery is, how to make it, but we also had some informal conversations about substance and stress and just the things that affect them on a daily basis, in school, out of school, because we know all of those things are contributing factors to kiddos trying substances for the first time. So we want to make sure that they have the information that they need to make the very best decisions for themselves as
Right.
they grow. So
Right.
getting them early, hopefully by the time they're really truly exposed to peers using substances, that they have the knowledge and the ability to say no that we're trying to foster in these kinds
Yeah.
of programs.
That knowledge, that confidence, I think, is
That
really important,
confidence,
right? To be
yeah,
able to talk to
absolutely.
a peer and say, not for me,
Yeah, no, that stuff's not good for you.
which is probably the most grown-up thing I could have thought to say. I'm sure no kid says not for me. But anyway, no thanks, get out of here, well, stuff like that.
Yeah, we do talk about that though, like ways to say. Those are called refusal skills.
Yeah.
And we do talk
See?
about different ways to say no, because sometimes just saying no, unfortunately, doesn't work. So
Right.
we try to teach them different ways to say no without saying no.
Okay, see, there you go. But we're seeing a picture now. This is kind of that studio that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
this
So
is
the
the
kids are learning about the actual ideas of clay and pottery, I guess, right? And glazing and painting and all that stuff that goes into it, correct? Because there is an actual
Correct.
kiln at the Farmington
Yeah,
Boys
you
and Girls
can't
Club.
see it in the picture. It's kind of behind that wall.
Yeah.
It's in a separate little room within the studio. But there is a full-size kiln in the Boys and Girls Club Farmington. And so we've taken the space and converted it to a studio. And they go through all the stages of clay. They're working with real Cone 6 clay. It's not air dry or Play-Doh or
Right.
something. So they're learning all of the things that go into actually making ceramic products. And they find that it's not as hard as they thought it was going to be.
Good. Well, not with you as their teacher.
Well,
Yeah,
right,
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, no.
It was easy. Yeah, right. It's still probably a little bit different than they thought it was going to be.
It is different because there are things that they can do with things like air dry clay and Play-Doh that you can't do with regular clay, real clay,
Right.
as I like to say. So things like I do a little quiz at the end to see if they've actually learned things. And one of the big things is score and slip. Score and slip. That's what you have to do in order to get two pieces of clay to stick together. You have to score it and then use slip, which is liquid clay, to make it kind of glue together so it stays.
Right.
And it's an interesting lesson for them when they don't score and slip well because things just fall apart. So it's kind of a metaphor for
Now
life.
they have two
right?
pieces, and not just one. That's right. Exactly. But there you go. And there's some of the handprints, I guess, or hand outlines that they were doing too as a project.
Those are their actual hands. So they made the little plates on forms, and then we outlined their hands.
Yeah.
And this was an interesting experiment for them as well because I tell them clay shrinks as it dries and goes through the process, but they don't really get how much that shrinkage is until they've done their handprints and it's around the edge of their handprints, so that's even just a little bit bigger than what their hand is, right? And then by the time it's all said and done, it's been glazed, it's gone through all the firings, their hands no longer fit in that at all, and they're like, oh my gosh, Miss Julie, they really did shrink. I'm like, they really do shrink.
See? Or you grew a lot in that.
Yeah, you grew a lot in 3
12
weeks.
hours or whatever it is, right? Something like that. That's awesome. What a great lesson for these kids. And you've done this for a few years. We won't say how many. But a lot of kids have gotten the joy of being in a classroom with you and learning how to do this and through the kiln at the Boys and Girls Club, which is really amazing because it just was happenstance, I think, that you discovered there was a kiln there.
Yeah, Michelle Meyering, the CEO, and I were just having an art talk, and because she's an artist as well, and we were just, because I was already there doing some other prevention programming, and she's like, oh, we have a kiln. And I'm like, what? So yeah, those conversations, we have to make connection. And that is what the partnership is all about, is making connection, connecting people with the resources that they need, connecting people with the information that they need to make healthy choices, connecting people and our community so that we can all have the best community that we can.
There you go. Celebrating 35 years.
Celebrating.
Full circle.
Yes.
Here we are. Excellent. Thank you both for coming in this morning. Amanda, thank you. Any final thoughts? Julie and I have been kind of taking over the conversation.
That's okay. Julie is doing a great job this morning, and I'm okay to be quiet.
Okay.
But no, the partnership's a great organization. I've been with them almost 19 years, and I love everything I do there and love the work. And please continue to support the work we do, whether funding or just coming to our meetings and being a part of those kind of groups.
There you go. Very good. 35 years of the San Juan County Partnership. They are celebrating, of course, and we can continue to support the work that they do. So wonderful. Thank you both for coming in this morning. Always great to see you.
Thank you.
Excellent, Scott. Thank you
We'll see
so
you
much.
next time. You bet. My guest this morning from the San Juan County Partnership with me here on KSJE.